Okay, this screencast is to assist you with step number 2 in project 6-5. Basically what we're doing is this whole project is designed to see what the results have been in a recent mailing campaign for this company. And on the mailings worksheet, it recorded all of the different cities and the departments that mailed out mailers and what kind of response return that they received. And we've already completed the first step where I've highlighted cells A through D28 and assigned that the name of responses, and you can see that here up in the name box. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use what's called a match function and an index function to determine how many responses were received by city. So as the steps direct you, type Carthage in cell B21 on this mailing stat worksheet. And then I'm going to click in C21 to start my function, my formula. So I'm going to start with an equal sign, and I'm going to hit index. And again, I'm not going to use insert function to create this. I'm just going to write it manually. I think it makes it easier to understand, and it is totally fine to do it this way and still receive full credit from SimNet. Okay, so if you look, I typed in insec, and the nice thing about typing in functions is that Excel tells you the arguments that you need to complete that function. So what index is going to do is say, okay, I want you to return me a piece of information. I'll tell you the table it's found and the row number and the column number, and then I'll report the value that's located within the intersection of that row number and column number. So that's what index will do, but we've got to use other functions to fill in the rest of this formula to determine the row number and the column number for us. So the first thing, the array, is going to be that responses table that we just named on the mailings worksheet. And they're going to hit comma. Okay, so the next part of our argument is the row number. And we want Excel to determine the row number for us given a certain lookup value, which is the city that we assign, whatever city is displayed in B21. So we're going to start by typing match, and match works by first giving a lookup value location, and again, as I said, that's B21, whatever city is displayed in B21. The lookup array is going to be wherever those cities are found, and if we go back on the mailings worksheet, you'll see that all the cities are listed in this column A of this mailings by city and department table. So I'm going to highlight A3 through A28, and any city that we put in that B21 cell on mailing stats will appear somewhere in this column. So I'm going to hit comma after I highlight that, that column. And then the next type of part of our argument is the match type. And don't worry too much about this. The default value is 0, which indicates an exact match, and that's going to work for this function. We want it to exactly match the city name that appears in B21 on mailing stats. So I'm going to put 0, and then I'm going to hit close parentheses, and then I'm going to hit comma, because once we complete the match function, it will revert back to the arguments of the index function. Remember, we have two functions inside of a larger formula. So we need to close the parentheses whenever we finish one function formula, and then hit a comma to input the next part of the larger formula that we're completing. So now it's waiting for us. We've done the array, we've done the row number in the index, and now we need to do the column number. So I'm going to type match one more time. And again, the lookup value this time is going to be the number of responses right here on the mailing worksheet. And because, again, the index works by finding a row and then a column and then returning whatever in the intersection of the two. And so we've already determined the rows are going to be found over here. And now we need to show that the column is going to be the number of responses column. So we've highlighted that as our lookup value. And that right here, this heading is found in this array of headings. So I'm going to highlight A3 through D3 on the mailings worksheet. comma, and again, we're going to look for an exact return. So our match type is going to be 0. Hit close parentheses. And once we've completed that match formula, you'll notice that it reverts again to the larger formula that we're completing, which is the index formula. And we've entered all of our arguments. We've got the array, we've got the first match function for the row to indicate the row number, and the second match function to indicate the column number, and then we're going to hit a close parentheses again. And you always want to make sure when you've got formulas nested within other formulas that your parentheses match up. And you notice that Excel uses the handy dandy color guide, and you want to keep hitting parentheses until you get that black, final black parentheses, which means that all of the arguments have been closed. All of the functions are closed with a beginning and an ending parentheses. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And you'll see back here on the mailing stats worksheet that the city of Carthage had 343 respondents. Okay, so then it tells you in the directions to change that city to Smyrna, I guess that's how you say it. Hit enter, and then it automatically changes the number of responses to 300. Again, by using the lookup value of Smyrna, or whatever city is displayed, going to the response worksheet, finding that city within the first column, and then using the row of wherever that city is found, moving over to the third column into that array, or the D column, and returning the intersection of the number of responses with the indicated city and finding that value. And that is how an index function works with a 2 matches embedded inside.